Kieren Fallon. Well, where do we start? Undoubtedly something approaching a genius in the saddle. Always a man with issues and vexations out of the saddle, many of which I think are explained by the reasons given for his final retirement, i.e. that he's suffering from severe depression. He was an extraordinary man round Epsom in particular. I once was at his house doing an interview before the Derby with him, and his normal sort of guardedness and sort of remoteness dropped away. As soon as he started talking about Epsom and the Derby, he became energised, and it was utterly riveting. It flowed from him, stuff I'd never thought of, and I've seen 30-something plus derbies in the flesh, not literally, you'll be pleased to hear. He was at his most lucid, and his descriptive power suddenly took on an extra bit of force, and you understood why he was so good round there. I mean, his Derby winners, I think, were Oath, Northlight and Chris Kinn. Well, none of them are in anybody's Hall of Fame of great Derby winners, but they had, for assistance, an extraordinarily talented man round there. Of course, he excelled ever. He was incredibly strong in a finish, and he could really drive them home from a long way out. And I don't mean knock lumps out them with the whip. There was a remorseless power to him in the saddle, and those shoulders hunched and he drove, that is memorable, and that won't fade. I think he was a troubled man. If you put him in a room of 200 people, he'd find the two bad people in the room and make friends with them. That was one of his issues. That may, of course, have been a function of what is clearly a long-running issue with depression. He was more troubled out of the saddle than when he was in it, but undoubtedly one of the most capable, competent, effective, deadly effective jockeys of my time. He would have risen to greater heights if his temperament had been a little more tameable. He was a real punter's jockey, and they grew to like him on the big days when he had that quality of he was one of those fellas who could win on horses perhaps others wouldn't have done so.